Well, I guess today the writing is on the wall because in this video I'm looking at the KBEAR Ink. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So the KBEAR Ink, that is it there. This is a $69 earphone. It is a single dynamic driver earphone, and it comes with, well, you just saw the box. It comes with a large box. Not sure why that's so big, but you do get a fairly generous bundle inside. First of all, you get this pretty nice faux leather carrying case, and on top of that you get a total of 8 pairs of silicone ear tips. So that's pretty good. I like to see nice variety of tips come in the box like that. So here is the earphones, and these have metal alloy shells with a glossy faceplate there. You can see the KBEAR logo. It's got this kind of honeycomb design. The shape, well, the shells in general are very similar to the old KBEAR Diamond that I reviewed ages ago. They haven't changed that much. So they're fairly comfortable, but the fit is not the most stable. I had to try a couple of different pairs of ear tips to get a really nice secure seal, and that helped give me a more secure fit, but they are comfortable. Anyway, we're going to get into the sound. Let's throw up the graph here. And as you can see, we've got a V-shaped signature, so you've got fairly heavily lifted bass. It's not a bass head IEM, but it is significantly north of neutral, so you get a nice bit of thump in the bass. It's probably a little bit more focused on the sub bass than the mid bass, so it's not the punchiest in terms of kick drums, but when those bass drops drop, yeah, you get some nice rumble going on, although you don't feel it too much because of these rigid alloy shells. But very controlled bass. It doesn't really bleed too much into the mid-range. You can see that fairly rapid roll off after 150 hertz or so, and then you can see it does slope down fairly quickly, giving us that V-shaped sound signature, and at the same time that gives us some fairly recessed mids. The core mid-range is mostly neutral, and although it inherits a little bit of warmth from the bass, the lifted upper mids give it a brighter overall tone. It's a clean mid-range with ample clarity, but it could use, in my opinion, a bit more body and saturation. This is a mid-range that's well suited to classical music and acoustic instruments, but it could use a bit more warmth for instruments such as cellos and human vocals. As the volume increases though, so does the pinna gain, and the mids can get a bit shouty and like I said, leaning towards bright. And then we've got the treble, and the treble tuning is pretty lively. It delivers ample detail, nothing special but ample, but with some sharpness as well. It's not the most precise treble, but the tone is fairly natural. There is some airiness in the highs, and the top end extension is adequate, but like I said, a bit of sharpness there, a little bit of sibilance now and then as well. It's quite an uneven treble, and it's probably where I find issues with this IEM. I don't mind a good V-shaped IEM, but when you get sort of a really uneven treble like this one with some harshness and stridency, yeah, that just kind of blows things off. The lower treble is a little bit overly pronounced in my opinion. You do get that nice clarity from that and definition and things like that, but yeah, can get a bit shouty, can get a bit harsh, glaring even, and then you get those dips and peaks in the upper treble, which it just doesn't work all that well. It's close, like it's a decent IEM. So let's do a couple of quick comparisons now, starting with the Tin Hi-Fi T3 Plus. Now this is another single dynamic driver IEM. It has resin shells in place of the metal alloy shells of the Ink. The T3 Plus sounds more balanced, which means it has a more even distribution of bass, mid-range and treble compared to the V shape of the Ink here. The ink has an edge in clarity, but it comes with some stridency and sharpness, as I mentioned. The T3 Plus's mid-range has more body and thicker notes. It sounds a little bit more natural. It sounds a bit more forward in the mid-range. And yeah, it sounds more natural than the thinner, drier mid-range of the ink. The T3 Plus's treble is noticeably smoother, but its detail retrieval is just as good as the ink. Its overall resolution, I think, is a little bit better, and the instrument separation is better on the T3 Plus as well. Its more even treble response doesn't smooth over any areas. It gives it added precision and better imaging in comparison to the KBEAR. And from memory, I believe that the T3 Plus here is the same price, so they're both $69. And then we've got the Wizard HE01. This one comes in at $79, and it's a bit closer in sound signature to the T3 Plus. So once again, we've got the V-shape signature of the ink versus a more balanced signature sound from the HE01. Now, the HE01 has got significantly more bass presence. It has got a really lifted bass, and particularly the mid and upper bass is very full on this one. It's warmer and more musical than the ink. It's definitely got more weight and impact in the lows. Being more mid-forward in the lower mid-range gives the HE01 a more saturated and a thicker sound. The core mid-range of the Wizard is lifted too, making vocals more upfront and intimate than they are on the ink. And the HE01 has less lower treble energy, but its elevated upper treble provides more detail and air to balance out its meatier bass. And yeah, this is another one that I think is just tuned a bit better than the ink. The ink comes close to being really good, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of, it's good, and I'll leave it at that. So let me know, what do you think about the ink? Has anybody watching got this or heard this? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, Parfam audiophile style, and if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and until next time, I'll see you later.